This is Jimmy. Jimmy is a good citizen and supporter of the arts. He recently heard about Mini Hats Theater's production of Scab, and he'd really like to go. But he's in an underground bunker in Paraguay, so he's gonna miss the show. If only there was a way that Jimmy could support Mini Hats Theater from afar. Well, guess what, Jimmy? Today's your lucky day. That's right, Jimmy can contribute to Scab by giving to the Scab. But what exactly is that? Well, let's pick that Scab apart. The Scab is the Scenic, Costumes, and Accessories budget. As you might expect, this fund covers materials in three primary areas: set, costumes, and props. But why is this campaign even necessary? Doesn't Mini Hats Theater have money for their shows? And where is that money being spent? Well, like many small theaters, Mini Hats Theater has a very limited budget, and where it gets spent all comes down to priorities. Jimmy knows that Mini Hats Theater needs to pay for rehearsal and performance space, production rights, and marketing the show. And to Jimmy's delight, they allocate most of the remaining funds to paying their hard-working team of talented artists. So Mini Hats Theater is counting on generous givers like Jimmy to contribute to the Scab. Jimmy is shocked to discover the Scab campaign is only $800. After all, $800 is a pretty small amount for all those materials. A ready-made costume like this, or this, costs almost $200 all by itself. Even Jimmy's jeans cost over $50. But Mini Hats Theater doesn't want you to donate just so they can spend your money on fancy ready-made costumes. That's why they work with talented, capable, and creative designers who can make the most of a tiny $300 costume budget. Yes, you heard that correctly. $300 is the entire costume budget. But a small budget hasn't stopped them in the past. Jimmy thinks the costumes from their last production, The Mischief Makers, are pretty swell. Their sets and props are pretty swell too, Jimmy. So $300 is for costumes, that leaves $350 for a set and $150 for props. Okay, so that's what's under the Scab. But what's in it for Jimmy? Well, in addition to the warm, fuzzy feelings that come with supporting quality and accessible arts programs, Jimmy has the opportunity to leave his mark on the show. Literally. The Scab has a number of contributor awards, ranging from a sincere "Thanks, Jimmy!" to adding Jimmy's own voice to the show. And guess what? Jimmy's donation is tax deductible. Though Mini Hats Theater is a sole proprietorship and not a non-profit, they are fiscally sponsored by Shunpike. Shunpike is a Seattle-based 501c3 non-profit agency that provides independent arts groups in Washington state with the services, resources, and opportunities they need to forge their own paths to sustainable success. Mini Hats Theater's purpose is not to make money, but to give artists the opportunity to create impactful works that can be shared in our communities. So go ahead, Jimmy, and help fund the Scab. The more you give, the bigger that Scab gets, and the more that Scab will cover. Good job, Jimmy.